Hello, this short presentation is to introduce you to some of the main findings from the Vitae and Universities UK evaluation of the 17 Catalyst funded projects, supporting mental health and wellbeing of postgraduate research students. My name is Emma Day and I was Vitae Project Manager for the evaluation. In March 2018, £1.5 million was awarded to 17 English projects to support the wellbeing and mental health of PGRs through the Catalyst Fund. Research England, UKRI and the Office for Students commissioned Vitae together with Universities UK to evaluate the impact of this funding at programme level against its aims and identify learning and useful practice from across the programme. The 17 successful projects covered a wide range of activities targeted at PGRs and supervisors, including workshops, mentoring programmes, peer networks and training embedded into induction events. Co-production was a positive theme with 171 PGRs directly involved across 11 projects. 3 UK-wide surveys were run for PGRs, technicians and professional staff respectively, and a variety of resources have been developed for use by the sector available on the OfS website. These range from training materials to wellbeing apps, blogs, online hubs and videos. 2 projects have produced literature reviews, while 7 projects have submitted papers to peer-reviewed journals. 15 projects have provided case studies that outline their activities, impact and challenges. Many have actively shared their experiences with the sector at conferences and events during the course of the 2-year programme. The projects range widely in terms of scope, activities and impact, and the evaluation aimed to identify the learning and key themes that emerged across the programme as a whole in order to inform the sector. Themes have been mapped against the refreshed Universities UK framework, Stepchange for mentally healthy universities, which is shown on the slide. This in turn informed recommendations for the sector, senior institutional managers, supervisors, professional services staff and PGRs. Now moving on to the live domain, which focuses on healthy settings in which people learn, live, work and play. Isolation and loneliness is a common theme, and structured peer support programmes are useful interventions in creating mutual understanding and purpose in whatever format they take. Wellbeing activities should be encouraged as part of healthy practice and lifestyle. However, there is still further evidence needed on their long-term impact on mental health. And now the final domain, work, which focuses on creating mentally healthy workplaces. Supervisors have a crucial role in supporting the mental health and wellbeing of PGRs and need to feel able to undertake this role whilst also knowing their boundaries and how to access support for themselves. They are also important role models in demonstrating healthy behaviours. All staff who support PGRs need to understand and know how to respond to PGRs raising mental health and wellbeing related issues. This includes staff that we might not think of, for example, technicians or cleaners who might be best placed to spot unhealthy working patterns or behaviour. Now moving on to the 5 enablers. Firstly, and often most crucially, leadership. Senior leadership support is of course essential to drive a positive culture of research of mental health and wellbeing. This should be supported by the practice of senior leaders in the institution. And postgraduate researchers need to be identified as a distinct group in institutional mental health strategies. Policies should be developed to address this. Postgraduate researchers need to be identified as a distinct group in institutional mental health strategies. Policies must be developed in order to address this. Next, co-production. Co-production is an effective way to create appropriate resources and activities to improve PGR mental health and wellbeing. Repeatedly, the Catalyst projects agreed that whatever the resource developed, this was essential in ensuring its relevance. And thirdly, inclusivity. Attention needs to be paid to the mental health and wellbeing of different PGRs, particularly vulnerable groups and those with protected characteristics. It became apparent that inclusivity was paramount when considering mental health from everyone's perspectives. Now we move to information. Institutions need ongoing data on PGR's engagement with support services and reasons for interruptions of study in order that we can build a true picture of research and mental health. Mechanisms are being developed that allow PGRs to track and monitor their own mental health, and they should be encouraged to do this from the outset. And finally, research and innovation. Comparative UK benchmarking data is needed on the mental health and wellbeing of PGRs to identify potential triggers, areas of concern and the most at-risk groups. There's still so much we don't know about the big picture and where we can make a difference. There is experience of using a number of established ways of measuring mental health and wellbeing with PGRs that could be shared more widely. And there is an appetite for and benefits in sharing practice more widely. As a sector, we should continue to explore the best ways to do this. Findings from the evaluation and pulling together of the themes has led us to make recommendations for various stakeholder groups. Firstly, senior leaders must make mental health and wellbeing of PGRs a key priority and acknowledge PGRs as a distinct population in their institutional mental health strategies. They must drive an institutional culture reflected at department levels that supports PGR's wellbeing, outlining clear institutional expectations of their status and contribution to academic communities. To do this, they must provide sufficient resources to embed appropriate support and provision for PGR's mental health and wellbeing within their institution. They must regularly collect robust data on PGR's mental health and wellbeing in a structured whole institution approach to enable benchmarking, identification of any areas of concern, highlight good practice and monitor their own progress. And finally, they should ensure that supervisors, other academics with postgraduate responsibilities and professional staff are given the time, training and appropriate recognition for supporting PGR's mental health and wellbeing, and that this is reflected in workloads and the appraisal process. Moving on to recommendations for supervisors and others with responsibility for supporting researchers. There is a need to recognise and promote the link between good mental health and academic success for both the PGR and their supervisor, and understand the supportive role supervisors have in ensuring PGR's mental health and wellbeing. Supervisors should ensure they are well informed about PGR's mental health issues and potential triggers, and understand the boundaries of their responsibilities and capabilities, and know how to confidently signpost PGRs to the appropriate support. Often they may be concerned about not knowing how to support people, and they need to know what services are available to them. Finally, they must take care of their own mental health and wellbeing and act as mental health and wellbeing role models by displaying healthy working and lifestyle practices, thereby contributing to a more healthy institutional and academic culture. We also make recommendations to professional services. Firstly, we want to ensure they recognise and understand the distinctiveness of PGR's experiences and challenges, and are able to distinguish between the intellectual challenge of doctoral study and unacceptable stresses that have a negative impact on wellbeing and mental health. They should consider how they can develop and sustain PGR's peer support networks, explore how they can support PGRs within their role, and understand the boundaries of their responsibilities and capabilities, and know how to signpost PGRs to appropriate support. As with supervisors, they should take care of their own mental health and wellbeing and act as mental health and wellbeing role models by displaying healthy working and lifestyle practices to contribute to their healthy culture. Wherever possible, they should embed the importance for PGRs to pay attention to their mental health and wellbeing within existing doctoral degree processes and research development programs. And finally, that they should consider the support they offer and be flexible in the timing, duration and types of training and other interventions to provide a fully inclusive programme that attracts the widest engagement from PGRs. Finally, we make recommendations for PGRs themselves in the hope that these start to impact on research culture and expectations that undertaking a doctorate should be stressful. We ask that they pay attention to their wellbeing and mental health during their doctoral studies and actively seek ways to engage with wellbeing activities within and beyond their institution. They should be able to understand the wellbeing activities that are important to them and ensure that they find time to undertake them. They should develop good peer support networks to reduce the risk of isolation, again in a way that suits them. It must not be an additional thing for them to do. They should find out how and where to get appropriate help and support within their institution, including declaring any mental health conditions to their institution. And finally, they can assist in developing institutional and sector understanding of PGR mental health by responding to requests for feedback about their mental health and wellbeing from their institution, therefore helping to identify challenges in academia that we as a sector must work to address. The full report and appendices can be downloaded on the Vitae website, along with 3 stakeholder briefings for senior leaders, supervisors and professional services that you may want to share with staff in your institution. Equally, if you have any questions, please do drop me an email at emma.day@vitae.ac.uk. Thanks for listening.